Hey everybody, got this winch. Gonna put it together. I'm gonna put it together in such a way that it's transportable. Now I'm gonna let you know up front, this video might be a little long because I'm gonna show you how I put it together, where things went, because the instructions are kind of lacking. So I'll put chapters in the description so you know where the unboxing, the assembly, and so on and so forth went. And I hope you enjoy. Hope it helps somebody. Everybody just got a Harbor Freight Badlands Apex 550 long drum with the nylon rope. Gonna unbox it and test it today. Just thought I'd show you and give my thoughts, let you see how I did it, what happened. I know Harbor Freight has a bad rep, but they've made an attempt to make a better product, so I'm gonna give it a whirl. The price on this was $259, I believe, for a 5,500 pound winch. That's hard to beat. All right, so let's unbox it. All right, just pulled the lid off. This is what I find. Looks like a couple of lug covers. Not sure what that is. Some instructions. My father-in-law used to say, "Here, you read these," and then he'd get angry at his wife for reading them. And now I'll joke with my wife now about her father. I say, "Honey, you read these and I'll yell at you." All right, moving on. All right, hook, a box, bag of nuts and bolts, bag of hardware, some wiring, a remove before flight strap, more lug covers. Put these back here with the rest of the stuff. The fair lead. Got a bracket here. Mount the fair lead too. Some handy dandy NASA styrofoam. Cables. Harness for the controller. They look like power cables or something along that line. Another box that I don't know what's in it, and the winch itself, which is not very big. I'm picking it up one-handed. It's still a little heavy. Just to show you that. Hold on. Yeah, I'm not the strongest person. Was able to pick it up one-handed. So that's the size of it. There's my hand in comparison. All right, I'm gonna bag everything. Hold on. Contactor or relay was in this box, and in this box we have the battery disconnect. I believe is what that is. Oh, yeah, battery disconnect. All right, hold on a second. Get everything undone. All right, there's everything that came in the box. And the winch. All right, so my goal here is to mount this winch onto a mounting bracket that can be removed and inserted into a receiver so that it can be used on multiple vehicles. So my installation will probably not be typical. Let's continue. I'm just looking through the instructions real quick. There's the wiring. Got this from Harbor Freight also. So it holds up to a 12,000 pound winch. So I'm going to try to mount this winch here. So we're going to incorporate this into this assembly. All right, got the box open. Let's get everything out of the box. Get the box out of the way and do some assembly. All right, I've gotten everything out of the box. There's the arms, handles. Probably go ahead and put this together and then put the winch on it. All right, so installing these arms. This cupped part of the handle needs to go towards the middle, and the arm needs to be mounted on the inside of the bracket. On the inside of the bracket, not the outside. All right, so let's do that. Once you get to the arms mounted, you can run the long bolt through here, through the handle, nut and bolt it on the other side. Two things. One, I've moved my handles into the more upright position so that they're closer together. I still need to move these. And all right, I'm going to use my impact to tighten these up. It's 13 millimeter and 16 millimeter. All right, we'll tighten these up. Turns out the nut is 17 millimeter and the bolt is a 16 millimeter head. All right, we're going to take a look at the winch hardware. All right, so here's our hardware. All right, these pieces are for the fair lead because this fair lead doesn't cover the whole opening. It'll be smaller. So these are the backing for the mounting bolts. So I'm going to go ahead and mount the fair lead loosely. So the fair lead backing plates, just a hair too small. Might have to drill that, open that up. Or not might, gonna have to. All right, open up the hole a little bit. Let's get it mounted. All right, I want to show that mounted. That bracket is there. So you can adjust it as I push it around, show you. We're in it with an issue. You see, we don't have enough threads to make it through. We need a longer bolt. But this is the only bolt we have right now, so we're going to tighten it up, see what we get. We may have to live with it for today, and then have to replace the bolts later. The bolt's not long enough for the 12,000 pound winch mounting plate. To tighten these, you're going to need a 8 millimeter Allen and a 17 millimeter wrench. I should probably engage, disengage, pull a little bit of this out while I've still got room to reach in there and do it. There we go. Pulled some out. Now I'm going to mount it. I'm going to fasten it down. All right, I've got the first bolt started in this. Let me show you something here. This is the bracket they send with it. Naturally, the metal's a little thinner than this 12,000 pound mounting plate. That with the lock washer on, it doesn't even reach the threads enough to grab the winch. So these also need to be about a 1/4 inch longer. After a quick test fit, what I find is this electrical connection is going to be really close. So I want to go ahead and make these electrical connections before I actually bolt this in. That way I don't run into problems trying to get everything on there. So let's do that. All right, part of my problem with the way I want to install this is I've got to mount this hardware cable connections. I've got to mount all this somewhere, and I want to be able to move it around from place to place, so I can't mount it in a vehicle. Well, this bracket that came with the winch that we're not using because we're using this mounting plate here, I'm going to modify it to fit this equipment and try to go from there. All right, so I'm going to do that. First step, cut this off so that it can mount in between these bolts in here. And to do that, I'll use these 2 holes to drill 2 holes here. These 2 holes. And this is not some kind of devil sign. This is just me using 2 fingers. All right, just so you know. All right, so drill these 2 holes. Put them here. All right, drilled me a couple holes. Just like that. It's loose, but it's there. So now I'm going to try to test fit and see where I need to put my parts. All right, my winch goes about right there. That's good. All right, here's the bracket that I've prepared. I've widened these two holes to mount on the frame. I've added this cutout, this hole, and this hole to mount the connection in. Then I've got these two holes here to mount the relay, and then I've added 4 holes, 1, 2, 3, 4, to mount the battery cutoff switch. This is still kind of tacky, but I'm going to go ahead and mount it. And there, that's how the bracket is. It's going to be mounted. Oh, I'm an idiot. Bracket is not going to be mounted like that. That's backwards. Wait, one. All right, there. That's the way I want it mounted, because I want this on the outside. That's where I have to hook up the controller. This didn't come with any mounting hardware that was of any value, or any that I really saw that was good. So for my purposes, I needed something short. I think they intended these right here to mount this maybe somewhere in your vehicle, but those are useless for my purposes. So I had to widen out this notch right here because the hardware I'm using is different. So we'll mount the relay. As you can see, the blue right there and the yellow connect to the winch, and they connect to opposite sides of the relay. There's a blue insulator here and a yellow insulator here, so that's pretty obvious. So I've taken one of these, I've slid it over the end of the wire. I'll make that connection. All right, I put it on. You see there's 2 washers on there. Make sure you put your eye in the middle of the 2 washers. All right, we're going to tighten it up. That's 10 millimeter. We're going to tighten it up, but I'm going to have this cable facing downward when I get it tight. I've completed that connection, and I've got the plastic protector, I don't know what you call that thing, boot over top of it. So now I'm going to go ahead and connect the motor, or bolt the winch in place. All right, I got the winch bolted in place. Going to tighten those up, 13 millimeter. I just noticed that to make things easier, they've got the connections color coded. How about that? Good deal. All right, made the yellow connection on the winch, made the blue connection on the relay, and the yellow connection on the relay. All right, I've mounted the harness, and I've got a tie wrap stuck in a hole here. I got to bundle this up and put this in this tie wrap. But I've connected these according to the wiring diagram. And I've grounded this one. If you look at this, black goes, I'm sorry, yeah. Black goes to the negative post here. That's not where I have it. I have it grounded here. I guess I need to move it. And then the red wire, the big long red wire, says if you're not attaching the winch to a vehicle, attach the ignition wire to the positive battery terminal. If this is not done, the winch will not operate. So we're going to do that. All right, I went ahead and mounted everything. My connector for the handheld remote, battery disconnect, off, on. I've got one side of it wired. I don't have the other side of it wired because I'm going to do something with that. And I've got the relay or contactor connected, except for I need to put an end on this, connect it to this post here, and connect my ground from here, the ground that I'm going to use to connect to the battery. Here's the final iteration of the winch. Got the bracket that they sent and I repurposed it. Got it mounted. Got the contactor mounted. Cutoff switches mounted. And I got the handheld control connector mounted. Got the cover on it. I hook it on the back side. I'll show you that in a minute. What I did not do was I did not connect this, because I have this so that I can move it around. FYI, these wires here are 16mm square. That's what came with it. So I put 16mm square cable on the negative side of the battery. That goes there. Here's a better picture. There. And one here that goes to the positive side, or the battery side of the cutoff switch, and then the cutoff switch goes to the relay. Also, I made this cable, and you can see I use a 4-conductor cable, so if something ever happens, I have 2 spare conductors to work with there. What I did was I made this cable long enough, and you can see it coiled up right there, long enough to go from the back of my dually up to the battery. On the other side of the cable, I have full-size jumper cable clamps. So, to winch the vehicle I wanted to winch up onto the trailer, I used my truck. So this was hooked on the back of the truck, trailer on the back of the truck, and I used a split receiver and connected it to the battery on the truck and winched it up. So here, I'll show you how we winched it up. Keep in mind, I did use a snatch block and a 7/8 shackle to winch the truck up onto the trailer. I got the bigger size snatch block because I didn't want any sharp edges to get into the synthetic rope. So here, watch the truck come up on the trailer. To get the truck off, we used the winch on the back of a Jeep sitting beside the trailer. Used the snatch block to redirect, and we winched it off. I'll show you that as well. Little snippet. Easy squeezy. Anyway, that's the way I did it. Got any questions, comments? Work like a charm.